The ransom demand was simple: $1.2 million in Bitcoin, or every client file would be published online. The FBI Cyber Division estimated it would take 72 hours to trace the attack. The company had 6 hours before going bankrupt. In the emergency meeting, Margaret raised her hand quietly. "I might be able to help," she said. The room fell silent, then erupted in barely contained laughter. What they didn't know was that Margaret had been fighting cyber wars since before the internet existed. From which city in the world are you watching this video today? If this story intrigues you, consider subscribing for more tales of technology's unseen heroes. On the 12th floor of Technova Corporation's accounting department, Margaret Hartwell worked quietly at her desk by the window, as always. At 67, her gray hair pulled back in a bun, thick glasses perched on the tip of her nose. She typed with 2 fingers, seeming to consider each keystroke carefully. While young employees around her worked rapidly on laptops in the open office environment, Margaret's desk held an old desktop computer, handwritten ledgers, and a paper pencil holder. A framed accounting certificate hung on the wall. No other personal items. "Aunt Margaret is typing with 2 fingers again," whispered Lisa, a young accountant, as she got up from her desk. "Maybe we should suggest a computer course for her." Margaret heard this but showed no reaction. She'd been working at this company for 3 years, and her colleagues had grown accustomed to viewing her as a bit slow with technology. She preferred printing her emails, used pen and paper for meeting notes, and didn't carry a cell phone. Monday morning at 9:45 a.m., all of Technova's systems locked down simultaneously. Jake Morrison, the 28-year-old IT director, an MIT graduate and young genius who had designed the company's cybersecurity systems, frantically typed commands in panic. Senior developers, system administrators, and security experts gathered around him. "How is this possible?" Jake shouted, staring at his screen. "Our firewall is military grade. Our intrusion detection system is state-of-the-art." Screens filled with red warnings. "System breached. All files encrypted." Margaret watched the IT department's chaos from her desk in accounting. As she removed her glasses to clean them, she noticed something familiar. The attack's structure, timing, traces of the encryption method used. She had seen these before. At noon, CEO Victoria Sterling called an emergency meeting. Senior executives, the IT team, and department heads gathered in the conference room. The ransom note from the attackers appeared on the projector. "To Technova management, all your data has been locked with military-grade encryption. Transfer $1.2 million in Bitcoin within 6 hours, or 50,000 of your customers' personal information, company secrets, and financial records will be published on the dark web. Do not contact police. Do not call cybersecurity experts. Pay up and continue your business. Phantom Core." Sterling's face was pale. "I spoke with the FBI's cyber division. It could take them 72 hours to trace the attack and find the perpetrators. We have 6 hours. Jake ran his hands through his hair. "Ma'am, an attack at this level. Our normal security protocols aren't sufficient. This could be a state-level operation." In the back of the conference room, sitting among the accounting managers, Margaret quietly pulled out her notebook. She was examining details in the ransom note: the signature, language use, encryption references. She slowly raised her hand. "Excuse me," she said in her soft voice. "I might be able to help." The room fell silent. Then Jake began to laugh. "Margaret, we're dealing with a very serious situation right now. This isn't something that can be solved by learning computers." Security Director Dave Chen joined in. "Mrs. Margaret, we appreciate this, but this involves million-dollar software quantum encryption." Margaret adjusted her glasses. "I know, Phantom Core." This time, no one laughed. The room fell into such silence that even the air conditioning could be heard. Sterling frowned. "What do you mean, Margaret?" Margaret stood up, closing her notebook. "My real name isn't Margaret Hartwell. It's Margaret Ghost Harrison." Jake's mouth fell open. Dave Chen's eyes widened. "I worked for the NSA's Cyber Operations Division from 1985 to 2002. When the internet was still new, I was already protecting state secrets." Sterling's breath caught. "NSA? Phantom Corps is a group I encountered in the 1990s. They were operating in Eastern Europe back then. Their leader's name was Alexei Volkov, codename Shadow Miner. Same signature, same encryption style, same arrogance. Jake was still in shock. But you're an accountant. Margaret moved to the head of the conference table. I can stop this attack, but give me full authority and don't ask questions. Sterling was uncertain. Margaret, waiting for the FBI. You have 6 hours, Margaret cut her off. I'll handle it in 2, but I have conditions. What are they? Everyone from IT department leaves this room. Leave me Jake, but he just watches, and give me all admin rights to the company. Jake protested. I designed these systems. I need to monitor you. Margaret looked at him. Jake, you designed the systems, but you weren't born in this war. I was. Expertise display. Moving to the IT department's main workstation, Margaret sat at the keyboard, but this time, not with 2 fingers. Her fingers began dancing across the keys. First thing we'll do is see the real scope of the attack, she said, switching between screens. Phantom Corps always leaves back doors. Their arrogance is their weakness. Jake was mesmerized. The commands Margaret used didn't resemble any system administrative tools he knew. What kind of program is this? He asked. Some tools left over from NSA, Margaret said, not taking her eyes off the screen. The kind that don't officially exist. Matrix-like codes flowed across her screen. Margaret's fingers worked without pause. Found it, she said suddenly. Volkov still uses the same methodology, repeating tricks he learned 20 years ago. Counterattack. Jake, go to the server room and get the physical backup drives. Blue rack, 3rd shelf. As Jake ran off, Margaret picked up her phone, an old button phone. She dialed a number from memory. Marcus? It's me, Ghost. Yes, I know I said I was retired. Emergency situation. Volkov is active again. Phantom Corp signature? Yes, that Volkov. The voice on the phone sounded surprised. I need backdoor access in 20 minutes. Open the old channels. Authorization code Delta Sierra 7 Alpha. As she hung up, Jake returned with the discs. Margaret, who are you talking to on that phone? You forgot the no questions part. New windows began opening on Margaret's screen. Jake saw interfaces he didn't recognize, codes that surprised him. Phantom Corps' weakness is this, Margaret said, typing rapidly. They use the same infrastructure for every attack. They use the same protocols for command and control servers, and most importantly, new information appeared on screen. Volkov still doesn't recognize me. Jake's eyes widened. What do you mean he doesn't recognize you? Because in official records, someone named Margaret Harrison never existed. Ghost was just a legend. Margaret's fingers touched the keyboard one last time. And now, 20 years later, Volkov will learn that some ghosts never die. She pressed enter. The screen suddenly changed. Red warnings turned green. Files recovered. System cleaned appeared. Jake collapsed in his chair. How did this happen? Margaret removed her glasses and cleaned them. I entered Volkov's command server. Not only did I recover our files, I collapsed their entire operation. I sent evidence of all Phantom Corps attacks over the last 3 years to the FBI. An hour later, the FBI Cyber Division came to Technova. But not to make arrests, to give thanks. Agent Harrison, said the division chief, we've been hunting Phantom Corps for 20 years. How can we thank you? Margaret smiled. Call me Ghost, and let me remain as Margaret Hartwell. Jake was still in shock. Margaret, are you really a legend, Jake, but now I just want to be an accountant. Sterling approached. Margaret, what can we do for you as a company? Nothing. Just maybe the IT department won't call me computer illiterate anymore. Jake shamefully bowed his head. Margaret, I apologize. Jake, Margaret said in her old soft voice, you're a good developer, but sometimes the best security isn't the latest technology. Sometimes it's experience. The next day, Margaret continued typing with 2 fingers at her desk by the window, as always. But this time no one was laughing, because everyone knew that some legends live quietly among us, and sometimes, in moments of greatest danger, salvation comes from the most unexpected places. Margaret Hartwell, or Ghost, whoever she was one of the technology world's unseen heroes. And perhaps there are still countless ghosts among us, working ordinary jobs, secretly protecting the world. Finally, please comment which city you're watching this story from. And if you want to hear more stories of technology's unseen heroes, don't forget to subscribe. Disclaimer: this video is a fictional dramatization inspired by real events.